Hello guys, welcome to my new Dwarf Fortress series, where we will play a fort and try to become the new capital of that dwarf civilizations that we choose to be. And I did a little series of this earlier on my other channel, but unfortunately school and things got in the way and I wasn't able to finish that, so we're gonna try a new here. And yeah, you will get to follow me each and every step, and there's not gonna be much edit, just raw gameplay, so you can see exactly which steps I take. And if you want, I can make a proper tutorial if you think that would be nice to have. But yeah, this playthrough will basically be some commentary on what I do and some discussions with myself about layout for the fort and things like that. And yeah, you're free to tag along, so let's go, shall we? I've already created a new world, so let's just go ahead and start a fort. Okay, so now we're gonna decide where our fort is going to be. So we're gonna hit F to find the desired location. And in the top right here you can see all the different things we can choose from. We're gonna turn off aquafire because we don't want those. Basically they are like large underground water reservoirs, and if you accidentally mine into one of those you can flood your entire fort, which we don't want. We're gonna have a river so we can have access to fresh water. We'll have shallow metal because I like finding metal at every level, and also deep. And we're gonna have some soil because soil is good for well, if you want to farm things you need soil, and also soil is a lot easier to mine through, so it's gonna be quicker in the beginning. Gonna learn up your, you know, skill your miners and stuff. Let's see, what else do we do? We want pluckstone, of course, so we can make metal. The other stuff I don't really care about, so let's just go ahead and do the search. In my opinion, choosing a good spot is very important, of course, because it depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to have an easily defended place, you might want some mountains or something, or if you prefer plains, you can have a fort in the middle of a big plain, and you can have small turrets on the sides. Not turrets, but you can have bunkers on the side where your dwarves can sit and shoot out from. But anyway, we have received our places here, so let's press escape and browse these results. Let's see here. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, you can. Good. We are this little X here. This is the world map. This is the entire world as we see it. Over here we have the region, so this is a slightly more zoomed in view. And the top left we have the local view, like how the terrain will look like. And this little box here is our like play area, so whatever we choose to start out from. And you can make this little play area bigger by pressing oops, you can move it around by pressing U, M, H and K. You can move it around here. For example, you can see the blue there, it's a little river. And if you press capital H, you make it smaller this side, and capital K bigger this side, and capital U is bigger this way, and capital M is lesser, like this. So let's go ahead and move down here. We're gonna press shift and use the numpad to jump around. And I want to start in some mountains here. Now in the top right here, you can see all the stats of this current location. So here you can see the temperature is hot, trees, vegetation, surroundings, and some information about the local materials in that area. I'm just gonna drink some water. Okay, we can also see the brook there, so that's the name of the river or brook that's going through the area. I think we want normal temperature because we don't want people getting heat strokes or anything. Also, of course, the climate you choose will affect what you can grow on your fort, of course, because you know some plants will like cold climates and some will like warmer climates. This looks pretty good. We have sand, some soil, deep metal, and flux-stone. And also we have a river. Yes, we do. So in the top left, we're gonna see here. Okay, so this looks pretty good. We have the river in the middle. And if you press tab, now we have changed the viewpoints. Now we have neighbors, so we can see that we have goblins as neighbors. And this red means that we will be at war with them, so they will attack us. And tab again. Here we can choose our civilization. And if we use plus and minus, we can jump up and down. For example, the diamond boat here. You can see that this little dwarf society has settlements in these blue areas. And if you press the dappling ship, oh, they're a bit more spread out. The named craft, they're down here. And so on. Depending on which civilization you choose, they will have different kinds of access to animals and stuff. If you have played those before, because if you play a certain civilization, for example, let's play as the diamond boat, and if your dwarves are able to domesticate certain animals and other stuff like that, that civilization will learn how to do that. And if you play the same civilization on the same map, you can then choose to start with those animals. So that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and start here, because as you can see, the blue area is around us, so it makes kind of sense that they will put a settlement here. And now let's press tab again and go to our local map again. Now we're looking at evaluation or elevation, and we can see here on the right scale low to high. So here we have some height, maybe some mountains or something, and here we have a little valley because it's a deep blue. And if we press tab again, now we have numbers instead. So as you can see, the blue here is flat, and then we have slopes, high cliffs, very high cliffs, extreme cliffs. So if we start right here, we're gonna have a little like mountain surrounding us, and that can be pretty good, I guess, because then we can mine into the side of the mountain. So I think we will move upwards one bit, like this. Let's just check, so we have... Yes, okay, good. Oh, no, not that. Ah! No, now I screwed up, sorry. Oh, here we go. That. So now we have sand, some solid metal, flux-stone, and we have diamond boat. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this looks good. Let's go ahead and choose this. So we're gonna press E for Embark. Now I'm playing with what's it called now again? Let's see. Yes, so I'm playing with Lazy Noob Pack, and it's made for players who are like, who doesn't want to fiddle around with all the mods and things themselves. So they can download it like a complete package with all the graphics and all the like different kinds of mods you want, and it also comes with this tool. Let me show you here. This is a Dwarf Therapist tool, so it will allow us to set up different roles and things for our dwarves, and it will like streamline a lot. Like instead of going into the game and do all this, you can just click to this window and you can decide what they should do and when and stuff like that. But we will get into that later on. Let's jump back to our little screen here. And the pack comes equipped with different like starts. You can already like that's prepared for you, so you can just choose any of these and just start. Just press start and play. I think for this playthrough I will use one of these, so you can also use the same one if you want to do what I do. Let's start with easy start made for new players. Okay, let's try that. Let's see, what do we have here? Usually I want to do this myself, but let's just try one of these and see how it goes. Okay, so the first dwarf, on the left here you can see all the dwarves, and on the right all the skills they have. 5 to 10, and 5 is this is the points it takes to increase it. But basically this is the as high as it gets. Or does it? Yeah, it does. Okay. So this character you can use left and right to jump between these two windows, or these two lists. Now this one has minor, and if you go down, he has nothing else. And yeah, so he has some negotiator, judgment hands, appraiser, commercialist, and leader. Now this character will be, or this dwarf I should say, will be the tradesman and the expedition leader. Basically you want some guy with appraiser, because once you get into trading you will want a dwarf who is able to appraise what things cost, you know? I mean, it makes sense. You don't want someone who has no knowledge of what things cost being a trader, because then maybe he trades a diamond sword for a piece of rock or something, you know, and that's not very good for your fort. And also judge intent and negotiator and conversationalist. It basically just makes him better at trading and communicating with people, and that will come in handy once he becomes the leader. And also leader is the same thing there, just naturally it's good for a leader to have leader skill. And we're gonna jump back left and check our next one. Oh. Now this dwarf also seems to be a miner. He has some weaponsmith and furnace operator, wood burner, mechanic. So when you're picking roles for your dwarves, like craft, what their crafting skill will be, you will want. It makes sense to have some dwarves and who have their skills like kind of the same. So this dwarf, he or she, I haven't checked the sex on this, but he or she will be a weaponsmith. And in order to be a weaponsmith, you need metal and you need some sort of fuel. So this dwarf will also be a furnace operator, so he can smelt metal into ingots, and he can also wood burner. He also has wood burner, so he can make wood into charcoal, which is used as fuel for making the weapons. He's also a mechanic, so you can make traps and levers and all that good stuff. And there's also a miner, of course, in the top there. And it's also a diagnostician. Diagnostician? I'm sorry, my stupid nose itches. Diagnostician, and that's made for if someone hurts themselves, then you need someone to make a diagnose, like, okay, where is he hurting? Yeah, is he hurting his head? Is he hurting his foot? You know, that can also be very valuable knowledge, you know, so you don't go ahead and cut off the left arm but instead of the right arm where he had the pain, you know. Okay, so that's that. So he will basically just mine around, and once we have done a lot of mining, he can then start making weapons for us. Okay, let's go to the next one. So here we have a mason, and we have a stone crafter. So he will just craft stone. That will be his job, turning stone into nice things. And yeah, that's all he has. So with a skill of 10, he will be able to make really high quality goods, which will be good, because I think we will base our economy on mugs, and you will understand what I mean by that once we get into the game. Okay, now let's go for the next one. So, okay. Here we have a carpenter, a building designer, woodcrafter, bone carver, gem cutter, gem setter, butcher and tanner, and what else? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so carpenter, turning wood into nice things, just like the mason. So he will make beds and barrels and bins and crutches and all that stuff. Building designer, once you make a building, like a bridge or a workbench or something, you need a designer to go up and say, okay, this is how will it look, make it done. And the higher building designer you have, the better. Let me look into that. So we will go here. I will show you. This is also a very good page to have up. It's the Dwarf Fortress wiki. So here you can just type whatever, like gems or something. And you get some information about your gem. And as you can see, there's a lot of things to know about this game. And I don't know even 10% of this game because it's so much to know. So what do we want to look up on my game? I don't see here. Yes, building designer. Okay, so we're gonna building designer, building designer. Okay, so this is the migrated. And maybe inaccurate. Okay, so we go to this page. So as you can see, this is a very good page to have. Okay, let's screw that then. We're gonna read this. Okay, so here you can see that they influence the quality of designed buildings. Okay, and these are buildings like bridges, supports, wells, windmills, that sort of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, remember this site, dwarffortresswiki.org. Go in here if you have any, like, if you wonder anything, just go here, search, and you probably usually you'll find what you're looking for. But now let's go back into the game. There's the window, thank you. Right, woodcrafter, well, it's the same as stonecrafter or metal crafter. They make things out of wood. It makes kind of sense. Bone carver, you know, carving things out of bone. Again, it's pretty straightforward. Gem cutter and gem setter. Now, gem cutter will take raw gems and cut them into various shapes and sizes. And those gems can then be used. Well, they can be sold just as they are, or they can be used in like jewelry or like fancy furniture or something. Like you can have a adamantium throne with opals into it or something. You know, just making things more expensive than they already are. And this will be great once we want to increase our wealth of the fortress. Because the more wealth you have, the more dwarves will come. But you also have to keep track of that a bit. But we will get into that maybe in this episode or later episodes. So Butcher, well, straightforward, he butchers things. Tanner, he takes the leather which you get from the butchering animals and you make and turn them into nice things. That's that. So let's go to our next little dwarf here. Whoop, there we go. And here we have a grower, so he will be our farmer. He will basically be the one we rely on to keep our fort sustaining on food and beverages. He's also our herbalist, so he can go out and pick up some mushrooms and whatever else we tell him to gather. And he will also be our brewer and our cook. And let me just take a little sip of water here. So our brewer, he is like our most, if not the most important dwarf for our fortress, because he makes booze. And dwarves need booze in order to function correctly. A dwarf without a booth, a dwarf without booze is not a pretty sight, and he will quite possibly become mad or really angry and start hitting people with pickaxes and stuff, and we don't want that. No, no, no. And the cook, yeah, he cooks things. Very good. You can make different kinds of meals, like simple meals with like 2 ingredients, or you can make like super complicated meals. And depending on the meal quality, people will get happier for eating it, and it will also increase the value if you want to trade them. And food is very, at least it was in the version I played, food used to be very, very high valued, and we will see if that is the case now as well. Okay, our almost last guy, he's a woodcutter, so he will cut wood for us. He is an axeman, because this guy will walk around every day with an axe in his hand, so having him as a skilled axeman makes sense, because then in the case of a fight, he will be better at using his tool as a weapon. And he's also a dodger, so in case he comes into battle, he can dodge things. And he also has adequate discipline. Now, discipline I think is good for fighting. Actually, let's demonstrate the value of dwarf therapists. Let's go in here. We're gonna check for discipline. That's not how it's spelled. Ah! Okay, I'm really bad at this. Discipline. Oh, of course. Stupid. Ah! Where did it go? There it is. No! This is expert things going on. Okay, so discipline is highly relevant to the military dwarves and somewhat less important for civil dwarf. A dwarf with high discipline is less likely to retreat in battle or to cancel a job when witnessing death. Okay, so this makes sense to have him leveled up in this. Let's go back into the game. Very good. And also leader and teacher. And leader, again, good for leaders of different kinds, if you're going to be a military leader or just a leader. And also teacher, so he can, if he becomes the captain, he can having like lessons for other dwarves who wants to learn to become soldiers. You know, he will make different kinds of exercises for them, and they will just get more from it. And the last guy, oh, that was the last guy. No, this is the last guy. So he will be an ambusher, which will. He can be a hunter basically, so he can go around hunting things for us. He's also a crossbowman because he will use a crossbow, and in the event of a fight he will be better at using it to defend us. And also dodger, and discipline, and leader and teacher again. Good. Now let me show you what I meant by personal traits and things. I think I said that in the beginning, didn't I? Anyway, so we're gonna use for checking up on these dwarves. Okay, so now we're getting really into the depth of the game, because this window shows how deep this game is. So here we can see that this dwarf, it's a female. She's 78 years old. So she has his date and when she's born. She's fat, shaven, low voice, etc, etc. She's agile, she's slow to heal and extremely quick to tire. So maybe this dwarf in particular wouldn't be a very good military dwarf, because she's quick to tire. And also this happens to be the dwarf that the preset starting loadout has made a miner. So quick to tire and miner, well, you can kind of imagine that doesn't really go well together. But whatever, someone needs to be the miner, and I guess this will do nicely. She has an amazing spatial sense, natural ability with music and good intuition, kinesthetic sense, and very bad analytical abilities. Now, what all these do, like analytical abilities or good intuition, you can look this up on the wiki, and it might be very important if you want to fine-tune your start out, because you want the dwarves who are stronger to be militant, or you want weaker dwarves to maybe do some crafts or something instead, you know. It can make sense, but for this playthrough we will just leave it as it is. And of course there's a small chance here that you might get dwarves who are not really they're not really well suited for the role that the pre-decided loadout might decide them to be, but you know, it is what it is. And also a small tip for leaders: once a dwarf becomes the leader, like the mayor, they will start dishing out orders. Like they can decide that, oh, we have to craft 4 doors, or we have to craft 2 iron goblets or whatever. And if you go into where is it here? Let's see here. We're gonna look for what he likes. Friendship, beliefs, and harmony. Where is it? Oh yes, here. So she likes illuminate, nickel, silver, praise, opal, clear glass, middle leather, and so on, blah 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 blah, and giant axe blades and jacks and so on and so forth. You shouldn't, if you see that, if you have a leader and you see that she likes the more very expensive materials, like adamantium and stuff, maybe you shouldn't have that dwarf as a leader, because then she will order the dwarves to make a adamantium share or something, and you know, that can screw you up royally, because you know, it might be hard to find that material. So yeah, that's that. Good. Yeah, so I think we will just start off, I guess. Oh, right. No, wait. We have first. I can show you this. If you press tab, you come into this view, and on the left side you see all the different items and food and stuff that your dwarves are bringing with you, and these coins costs points, just like the skills do. And down here you can see how much points you have. So currently we have 0. And if you want to add any new item, you just press N, and then you can add items, but right now we don't have any money, so we can't do that. And on the right side here, you can see all the animals we will bring with us. So here we will have 2 ducks and 1 drake, 5 dogs. You can also see if there are male or female. It's gonna have some dogs, a hunting dog, 2 cats, 1 eve and 1 ram, 6 hen and 1 rooster. And I think that's it. Yeah, 4 turkey and 1 turkey gobbler. Now you will also always start out with 2 like dragging animals or working animals that will drag the wagon for you. So in this case we don't have any animals here that can pull the wagon for us. So we will also start out with 2 random animals. So it might be a horse or a cow or an ox or something like that. And also a little tip here. Let's see, where is the wine? Yeah, here. Barrels has room for 10 liquid objects, you know. Is it? Let's look it up. Again, we're gonna demonstrate how well this is, how nice this is to have a barrel. So here you can see, okay, they can hold up to 60 prepared meals or cheeses, or 30 units of alcohol, and only a single stack. So you can't mix mead and wine, for example. Okay, so each barrel holds 30. Let's go in here. Let me show you again here. So right now we will have 1 barrel of wine, 1 barrel of ale, beer and rum. What we can do instead, now we will get 4 barrels. What we can do instead is, we can do this. We can turn this down to 9 and this to 31. Now this will give us 2 barrels. We will have 1 barrel full with 30 and 1 barrel with 1. So we get 1 barrel for free. And if we do the same here, and can remove that altogether and move this up here, and this as well. Wait, that's worse. Now we only get 3 barrels. Okay, that's worse. Let's just do this instead. We leave them at that, and now I can show you how a new item works. So let's press N. We're gonna go down to drinks and take that, and new and drinks. Gonna press right, jump here and press that. Okay, now. Okay, so up here we get 2 barrels, 1 more barrel, 1. So now we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barrels. So now we get 1 more barrel than we would have had otherwise. So just things like that. And the same goes with food and seed bags and stuff like that. You can mess around a bit, you know, try and get as much out of it as possible. And also the anvils, they cost very much. As you can see, it costs 100 points. You can start out without it and try and trade one later on if you want more points in the beginning. That's just a tip. and also if you go with axes, here you have one axe, and it's a tower cap training axe, so it's made out of wood. But you can use wooden axes to cut down trees. So don't worry about that. What else is there to talk about right now? I think we have covered a lot. Oh yeah, you want sand and things like that as well, because your dwarves can get possessed and things, and they want to create something that's like a specific type of item, so it's good to have sand. Oh wait, one important thing. Do they have gypsum plaster here? They do not. Now gypsum plaster is used to make casts and stuff. And why don't we have any of that? Let's see here. Plaster. No, we don't. Gypsum plaster. We're gonna use our remaining 15 points to get gypsum plaster as well, as much as we can. Okay, so we got 6 of them. You can find gypsum in the ground, or you can trade it, but I always like to have it like right off the bat, because dwarves will get hurt, so it's better to have it than not having it. Oh, right here, gypsum. Okay, well, have they changed that? Let's look into it. Again, we will use this. And we will go gypsum. Gypsum. Once mined, it can be processed at a kiln. Yeah, okay. So we were starting off with gypsum, but you need a kiln to turn it into gypsum plaster. And gypsum plaster is used it's used to make casts. Oh, you have to make plaster cats. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so okay, we just found something a bit of a problem with this starting thing. Because as you can see here, we are starting with gypsum. We're starting with 5 gypsum. And we would have to use a kiln in order to turn it into something useful. But instead, as you can see, gypsum plaster costs the same point. So we can remove these 5, and we can get gypsum plaster instead. Another 5 of those. So now we can use it straight away. We don't have to prepare it in a kiln or anything. And why are we starting with a copper battle axe and a tower cap training axe? Do we have 2 axemen? No, we don't, do we? Axeman. No, we're not. Whatever. We could, of course. No, we'll keep it at this because we're getting too much into it. I said from the start that I would just use it as is, but we already broke that promise. Okay. And of course the milk as well. You get a lot of different barrels here as well. Yeah, this will be fine. Let's just go ahead and start this off. So I'm gonna press G for name group, capital G. The Fatal Iron. Let's press R. Let's press R to jump here. The Greatest Torches, that's fine. Capital F. Tomb Keys, no, that's Crown Gates. Let's find a nice one here. Gorge Work, no. Crow Basement, that looks nice. Okay, so yeah, let's start ahead and embark. E. I'm gonna prepare to press pause as well if it isn't paused from the start. Alright, so here we are. You have arrived as a unit from the mountain homes, blah 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 blah. Your part of 7 is an outpost of glory, all of you broken half, blah 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 blah. Strike the earth. Yeah. Strike the earth. I'm gonna press enter here and see if we can start playing. Okay, here we are. So I'm gonna press space right away, so it's paused. And yeah, here we are. What's this? Something red down here. Okay, it's nothing. Yeah, so here we are. We have a little mountain here. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode where we will start carving out the fort and see if we can't do our little mission here and become the new capital. See you in the next episode. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to know more about Dwarf Fortress, why not check out their forums? Here you can ask questions and get into contact with other awesome Dwarf Fortress players. Oh, and don't forget about the Dwarf Fortress wiki, where you can spend hours and hours just rolling in information goodness about the game. And if you liked the video, great! Then I have achieved my goal, and I will be super happy if I knew about it. If only there was a way for you to let me know. Nudge nudge.